With us now is Mr. Bobby Rechnitz, an American businessman who's been active on this issue. Good evening to you. Thank you for coming.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
You're just coming back from the Gulf, right?
Yes. 2 weeks ago, I visited the UAE, and I visit Manama, Bahrain.
Not for the first time, we should say.
3 times this year so far, and going back again next week.
Right. So you're involved with this. What's next then for these amazing peace accords?
I think next is to rebuild and repair and fill the vacuum that was created by the last Israeli government, and also created by the lack of any activity from President Biden and the United States government.
Why? So far they had agreements, they had conferences, business is booming.
I agree with the first 2 points. I don't know that business is booming outside some defense contracts with the UAE. I know from visiting UAE in particular, and Bahrain even more so, that there's nothing tangible that the actual residents have to feel towards Israel, with the exception of perhaps tourism. There are many businesses, there are many trades that can be done. Bahrain, for example, is halfway between Europe and India. The film business, the studio business is very large in India. Bahrain would be an ideal place to build sound stages, sound studios. Israeli investors from real estate should be going there. Many other trade and technology businesses can be going there. The UAE has benefited a lot from the financial sector and financial businesses, but I don't believe the trade is up to par, and I believe that there was a serious vacuum and so much was neglected in the last 2 years.
So there's more potential in Bahrain?
There's a lot more potential in Bahrain. Unfortunately, so much of the attention goes to the UAE, but Bahrain is of equal importance. I was at a luncheon by the U.S. Arab Chamber of Commerce, which has 50 member countries, and they honored Sheikh Abdullah of Bahrain. It took place in Washington last week, and they talked about his accomplishments. And although Bahrain is not a large country, their accomplishments are major. The fact that they got the F-16 bomber into new production again and created thousands of jobs in North Carolina, and now some of the Americans are going and investing in Bahrain. This is the type of economic mutual interest that we need to see between United States, Israel, Bahrain, UAE, Sudan, Morocco, etc.
Who's next?
I believe Saudi Arabia is very close to a deal. I believe that once they have the confidence that Prime Minister Netanyahu is governing once again, I believe that will instill their belief that they can go forward, and I would not be surprised if we would see it in the first quarter of next year.
That's the only thing they need to see? Netanyahu governing? What about a Palestinian issue? They said there's not going to be any movement unless there's a movement towards a Palestinian state, and that is not really on the agenda of the next Israeli government, if you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean, but I think that the strength of the Abraham Accords is the fact that Israel now has peace agreements with its Arab neighbors without the Palestinian issue becoming an obstacle. The Palestinian issue has to be dealt with as a Palestinian issue, but not as a precursor for peace with other countries.
And you think the Saudi Arabia will be convinced by this approach?
I believe that Saudi Arabia under MBS has made great strides and great progress, and I believe there have been back channels going on for many years, even before the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain and Sudan. So I believe that we're going to see some positive steps and a wonderful show of faith.
Something to look for at 2023?
Let's hope so. Let's hope first quarter 2023.
Bobby Rechnitz, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.